Warning. Gun Talk features highly informed opinions wrapped around politically incorrect, adult language that may very well invade the safe space of some viewers. IllinoisGunRights.com condones the following material and encourages everyone to, please, try this at home.
When y'all go home and you're talking to your buddies and they say, he wants to take my gun away. You've heard it here. I'm on television, so everybody knows it. I believe in the Second Amendment. I believe in people's lawful right to bear arms. I will not take your shotgun away. I will not take your rifle away. I won't take your handgun away.
California Senator Dianne Feinstein worked for more than a year to get the assault weapons bill passed in the face of ferocious opposition from the National Rifle Association. She says she got the best she could.
If I could have gotten 51 votes in the Senate of the United States for an outright ban, picking up every one of them, Mr. and Mrs. America, turn them all in, I would have done it.
Hello everyone, this is Brandon with IllinoisGunRights.com, bringing you our very first episode of Gun Talk. So the topic today is this recurring theme. Started close to 7 years ago, but it's really amped up since 2012. And that's, hey, you're just being paranoid. Nobody's coming for your guns. Obama's pro-gun. He supports the Second Amendment. How many times have we all heard this?
Sometimes I think these conservative redneck hicks in the South just need something to bitch about. They just need another justification for that No Obama sticker on the back of their rusted out pickup truck that has the nut so eloquently dangling from the hitch. They just need something else to yell and scream about because they are still pissed that Barack Obama is a president of the United States. So that's why I think they have turned to, Obama's going to take our guns away, and we ain't going to let him do that. We ain't going to let him get anywhere near our guns because we're Americans and we got the Second Amendment, and this guy here is trying to take our guns. Shut the up about Obama taking your guns already. It's not going to.
How many times has it been from our very own friends and our very own family? I personally have heard it from my friends and my family. Luckily, it's a trend that's starting to die. We're starting to see a lot of these really bipartisan polls coming out showing that the majority of Americans not only support the NRA and don't think the NRA is the bad guy, but they also don't support this no-fly list bullshit from the president, this new assault weapons ban, quote-unquote, that Congress is trying to introduce, which, by the way, has 100% Democrat approval. But I just kind of wanted to go over this. I wanted to touch base on a few pieces. I won't take up too much of your time and just kind of wrap it up and give my overall thoughts for anybody that might actually give a shit, which I'm sure all 5 of you that are listening to this now probably don't. And that's fine. It's the internet. If you don't like what I have to say, go someplace else. So to start off, like I said, it's been going on for a while. A lot of us have been saying, well, early on in Barack Obama's first term that he is anti-gun. A lot of people said that, oh, well, how do you know he's brand new? Now that we're all looking back, we see that John Locke wasn't full of shit when he says, Obama said to me, I don't think people ought to have guns. One story that involves me personally, the day after Barack Obama got reelected in 2012, I was at my local Dick's Sporting Goods. And keep in mind, this is before the big you that Dick's gave to all of its loyal clientele with that whole AR-15 thing after the school shooting that year. But anyways, pre-douchebaggery, I was at Dick's Sporting Goods filling up my cart. I literally filled it to the brim with ammunition. We're talking, 223, 7.62. If it was for my rifles, I was putting it in my cart. This is Obama's second term. If he's going to go balls to the wall. At the very first tragedy that strikes, he is going to come after the Second Amendment. And it wasn't so much predicting the future as much as it was just remembering how certain people act. If somebody walks up and kicks somebody else in the it's not predicting the future to say that that person that got kicked is going to be on the ground. That probably sounds stupid, but it makes sense in my head. So I'm loading up on this ammo. I'm pushing my cart around, getting different stuff, because it wasn't all ammo, but mostly. And I had a guy approach me. I saw people that would look at me kind of weird and whatnot, but this guy approaches me, and in a joking manner, he's like, "Hey, man, do you know something I don't know?" Well, did you not see the election results? Barack Obama won. He's the president again. If you're not buying it now, you're going to regret it later. And I really felt that way. And, a lot of my friends made fun of me for it. The guy at Dick's kind of poked fun at me. But 2 months later, I'm getting Facebook messages. I'm getting text messages. I'm getting phone calls. "Hey, man, can you sell me some 223? Hey, man, can you sell me some 22? And it's because there was a big run on guns. Anytime the president of the United States gets on national TV and says that you can't be trusted with the guns that the United States government said you can be trusted with, it creates a panic. People go, well, I better buy it now or I'm not going to be able to have it later. For me, that's where my frustration really began. I got really frustrated with some of my friends. Even back then, a lot of people, Obama doesn't seem that bad. And quite frankly, it just pissed me off. I was disappointed. But moving past that, going on to his lies now, we still have people now that are calling us paranoid. It's not fucking paranoia. All right? You've got the president of the United States right now going on national television saying that he wants this secret fucking list that says if you're on it, and we're not going to tell you, by the way, that you're on it. We're not going to tell you why you're on it. But if you're on our list, it's because we said so, and we don't have to prove it. So, na-na-da-boo-boo, stick your head in doo-doo. That's their approach. If you're on this list, the do not fly list, you can't have a gun. That's what the president's pushing for right now. And his brainless lapdogs in the media are actually hopping on board with this. Not all of them. There are some. The Daily Beast is the one that really blew my mind that came out in opposition to this. But there are still quite a few people, and a couple of my Facebook friends are among them, that are in favor of this. And it blows my fucking mind. The president pitches it as, if you are on this list, you are too dangerous to have a gun. Well, who says so? We have laws in this country that all of you fucking progressives back in the Bush administration were bitching about. I agreed with you then. Why are you not agreeing with us now? Why is it now okay to circumvent the United States Constitution? Why is due process now just an obstacle in your fucking path? If I'm being paranoid, why do you have to eliminate due process to take away somebody's gun? What happened to your fucking standards? So he's saying, oh no, trust me with this list, and we only need to keep guns out of the hands of dangerous people. Okay. But then if you're not going to use this power that you're asking for, then why are you asking for it? The government, if it doesn't need the power to bypass due process, then why is it asking for the power to bypass due process? Why is it asking for the authority to trample on the 5th and the 14th Amendments so that it can strip you of your Second Amendment? That doesn't make any sense. And anybody who thinks that it does is a moron. And these are the same people that the last 7 years have been telling me that Obama is pro-gun. They say, oh, look, he signed this bill that lets you carry in national parks. No, he didn't. I'm sorry, he signed the bill, but it's not like Congress came to him with a bill whose headline was, let people carry in national parks. It was a pro-gun piece of legislation that was attached to the ass end of a piece of legislation that Obama wanted to sign. It wasn't a pro-gun movement. It was an agreement. It was I get what I want, so you get what you want. Yeah, it wasn't anti-gun, but you can't really say it was pro-gun. But now they're coming out and they're saying, well, this thing with him releasing the authority for the Secretary of State to sell 1911s to the civilian marksmanship program, that's pro-gun. Well, it's the same thing. That was not a bill that came to the president's desk that said, let's sell a bunch of 1911s. No, that was a piece of legislation attached to a bill that Obama wanted to sign. So it was if we'll agree with you if you agree with us. That's not pro-gun. But I'll tell you what is anti-gun. Coming out with a do not fly list proposition that says anybody on our secret list can't have a gun. Well, you shove your secret list because we're not having it. And I'm still in shock that a lot of these places like the ACLU and the Daily Beast and the Huffington Post, they're all kind of coming out against it. They're like, whoa, wait a second. We don't really like guns either, but we don't want the government having the power to strip us from secret lists. And so, again, all of this leads back to it's not being paranoid. The signs are right there. If you deny them, you're blind. If you agree with them, okay, I mean, you agree with them, but you can't say that it's paranoia because they're right there. As I shared in the opening clip of this, we got Dianne Feinstein, when she helped pass the 1994 assault weapons ban. She had that interview and she said, if I could have had all the votes that I needed in Congress, I would have taken every one of them fucking guns away from you people. That's what she said. No, not verbatim, but that's exactly what she said in terms of her intent. She doesn't just want to take the guns away from criminals. She wants to take them away from Mr. and Mrs. America. Here, I'll replay the clip for you.
California Senator Dianne Feinstein worked for more than a year to get the assault weapons bill passed in the face of ferocious opposition from the National Rifle Association. She says she got the best she could.
If I could have gotten 51 votes in the Senate of the United States for an outright ban, picking up every one of them, Mr. and Mrs. America, turn them all in, I would have done it. I could not do that. The votes weren't here.
Mr. and Mrs. America. She didn't say gangbanger and psycho Islamic terrorist. She said Mr. and Mrs. America. That's not paranoia. That's paying attention. And now we've had 10 years of the Democrats and the progressives having their way with an assault weapons ban. We have seen, to the government's own admission, that it didn't do a thing. In fact, any year after the assault weapons ban expired had fewer gun deaths and far fewer rifle deaths than any year during the assault weapons ban. How does that make any sense if you're somebody who supports an assault weapons ban? Unbelievable. But now we've got Democrats pushing for another assault weapons ban. Hey, it didn't work the first time. Maybe it'll work a second time. But let's look at the numbers. In 2014, 248 people were killed with a rifle. And that's any rifle. The FBI does not make a distinction between a scary black rifle with a shoulder thing that goes up.
In February, you introduced the Assault Weapons Ban and Law Enforcement Protection Act of 2007. It would regulate semi-automatic assault weapons, including weapons that have pistol grips, a forward grip, and something called a barrel shroud. Weapons with a barrel shroud would be regulated. What's a barrel shroud, and why should we regulate it?
I think the more important thing is that it also would have had banned the large capacity clips that Colin Ferguson had used, and also the killer.
Okay. But I read the legislation. I'm sorry, I read the legislation and it said that it would regulate barrel shrouds. What's a barrel shroud, and why should we regulate that?
The guns that were chosen back in those days were basically the guns that most gangs and criminals were using to kill our police officers. I'm not saying it was the best bill, but that was the best bill they could get out at that particular time. I actually don't know what a barrel shroud is. I believe it's a shoulder thing that goes up.
No, it's not.
Versus your daddy's hunting rifle. It's 248 people. A lot more people were killed with a knife. A lot more people were killed with baseball bats and fists and feet. Hell, more people died tripping over shit than were killed with a rifle. This is a small problem. If your intent is to reduce the number of gun deaths, you are starting with the smallest piece of the pie. That's stupid. But the number aside, the fact is, the odds of you personally being killed in a mass shooting are remarkably close to the same odds of you being struck by lightning. That seems so removed from us because the mass shootings are they're played all the time in the media. The media will take one shooting and they'll cover it for the next 3 weeks, 20 out of 24 hours that they're on the airwaves. And the 4 hours that they're not covering it are dedicated to commercials, and some of them are talking about banning guns because of this one shooting that happened. What the media doesn't cover, and realistically they never could, because Americans overall don't really like happy stories. Good stories don't sell ratings on 24-hour news networks. For the majority of the country, more people are interested in who won Dancing with the Stars versus what's going on in their government. But if, hypothetically speaking, the media were to cover the defensive gun uses in this country, the number of times a gun is used to stop a crime, and this is according to the CDC on a report commissioned by the Obama administration. The numbers are that if the major 24-hour news networks in the United States, and that's CNBC, CNN, Fox News Channel, Fox Business Network, MSNBC, and the BBC, those are the 6 that I could think of. There might be more, but we're just going to go with these 6. If they were to cover nothing but defensive gun use stories in this that happen just in the United States of America every single year, they would have to cover one story on all 6 networks that I just mentioned, every minute of every hour of every day for an entire year. There's that many defensive gun use stories. And like I said, according to the CDC, it happens up to 3 million times a year. And we're talking about something that is used to kill far fewer than 200 people a year. And we don't even know. We don't know the exact number based on the FBI crime statistics because, again, they don't differentiate. We just don't know. But we can say definitively it's fewer than 200. In fact, it's probably only double digits. But regardless, it's not that many. Why are we concentrating on this very small piece of the pie? Why are you coming after them so feverishly? I'm telling you, you're coming after my guns, and you're saying, no, you're not. Well, you are. I mean, you're coming after them again with the no-fly list. You're coming after them again with an assault weapons ban, and I'm kind of sick of it. Yes, the assault weapons ban doesn't really stand a chance of getting through Congress. That doesn't mean that we as pro-gunners should give up. That doesn't mean we as pro-gunners are being paranoid. The fact is, they're trying. The latest AWB has 123 Democrats. 123 traitorous pieces of shit that have 100% gone against their oath of office, signed on to support this bill. And, let's take a look at their video. They're saying that
held a moment of silence on the floor for the victims of the San Bernardino shooting just 3 days after the 3rd anniversary of Newtown. And while we should always pay tribute to those who lost their lives from senseless gun violence, the best way to honor their lives is for Congress to take action that will protect others from becoming victims of the same kind of violence.
The best way to honor the victims of gun violence is to take action. Okay, you're taking action. You've already stated that some of these, not all, not even by a long shot, not all, but some of these people who have committed mass shootings got their guns legally. But you're going to, for at least for now, tell people like me that we're allowed to keep the guns that we have now, but we can't sell them or give them away. Okay, but if these people that you're concerned about got their guns legally, according to you, then why the sacrifice to your commitment to honor these people's lives? That's what you said. Those are your words, not mine. You said we have to honor their lives by getting rid of these guns, but you're going to allow the people who you're concerned about having these guns to keep these guns. That's stupid.
And today we're doing that by introducing the assault weapons ban of 2015. This legislation will prohibit the sale, transfer, production, and importation of new military-style assault weapons and high-capacity magazines that have become the firearm of choice of many mass shooters in the United States. Now let's remember that assault weapons were first designed for the battlefield by Germans during the Second World War.
Oh, hold on just a second. The Germans didn't design an assault weapon. They designed the first assault rifle. Right here. I got it right here on your screen. The first assault rifle. And there is a fucking monumental difference between an assault rifle and a politician's version of an assault weapon. The first assault rifle, the STG-44, we all know it as gun people. We've all seen it. It can go full auto. It's not like a firearm that the average civilian can get their hands on. My AR-15 cannot go fully automatic. My AR-15 is not an assault rifle. It is not an assault weapon. By my definition, by this definition, it's a 30 caliber round magazine clip ghost gun. Your pants. But I'm just going to stop it right there. I mean, you can watch the rest of the video for yourself if you want. I'm sure you get more than intelligent enough to come up with your own opinions. And we're just going to leave it there. You have all the evidence that you need to ascertain that this isn't paranoia. They are coming for the guns. They will not stop. We cannot sit on our asses and say, oh, this bill won't pass. I don't care. That's what happened in 1994. We can't let it happen anymore. Do not allow yourself to be blamed. Do not allow the President of the United States to go on national TV and accuse you of supporting terrorism when he goes on and says some shit like this.
Our success won't depend on tough talk, or abandoning our values, or giving in to fear. That's what groups like ISIL are hoping for. Now, here at home, we have to work together to address the challenge. There are several steps that Congress should take right away. To begin with, Congress should act to make sure no one on a no-fly list is able to buy a gun. What could possibly be the argument for allowing a terrorist suspect to buy a semi-automatic weapon? This is a matter of national security.
What he's saying with that clip there is that if you don't support his idea to give the government total authority to strip you of your rights without due process, then you support the idea of Islamic terrorists from getting their hands on an AR-15 and shooting up a Christmas party full of innocent people. That's what he's telling you right now. This isn't paranoia. But the next time the president goes on national TV, just stare right at him and just simply say, "Shut up, pussy."